All right, so welcome to another video from the chart readers. If you haven't already, please subscribe. It's the quickest way to get all these updates, and honestly, I sincerely appreciate your time and you actually hitting that subscribe button. So for the fourth time, we're going to be looking at the FAANG stock. So again, a couple name changes with Meta, with Google going to Alphabet, but look, the word is still FAANG, right? We're going to look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. And again, you can kind of jump around in the video to find the exact stock you want. Otherwise, if you listen the whole way, look, you're at least going to get the repetition, right? And the quickest way to learn really is repetition. So as always, what are we going to do? We're going to look at the daily chart as well as the weekly chart. We're going to use our moving averages as well as these horizontal support and resistance lines. Again, I draw these manually. And then we'll use these lower indicators really as our reassurance to what we're seeing up here, right? So again, the last time I made this video was the 21st. So just before almost 2 weeks of trading, actually. And look, the reason why I'm starting out here before I jump in, look how hard a line this 183 was, right? So obviously something happened in middle of July, happened middle of August, and really when we lost it in early, what is that, March? June, it looks like, sorry, in early June, that line, that 183 seems to be a pretty magic number. But let's take a little zoom in. So really, the last time I made the video, again, like I said, was the 21, right? We unfortunately lost the 20 and the 50 since making this video. This line right here, the basically 160, looked like it tried to be a bounce point. Clearly wasn't. Again, using our line to bounce, trying to use the 8 to bounce, and then just a hard fall yesterday, right? So what are we looking at? We're looking at just 3%. It doesn't actually look that bad, but I mean, just on the chart itself, not that good, right? We lose the 8, we fail the 50, haven't been over the 20 in a while, and really, if this 155 saved us once right here, saved us a bunch of times right here, saved us a couple times over here, there's a good chance we're going to lose that 150, right? Do I have any more lines under? I do, and there's actually a very fat gap below. So that's a little worrying, right? And with the conditions of how the NASDAQ looks, sorry to zoom in and out like that, right? But I had to check it out. Meta could be a little concerning, actually. Cannot lose 155, 160, right? 155.98, and I start to get worried, right? Because look, this one pretty much caught it. These ones were under it, but they've never really closed anywhere under. This was really the only time we've been under, right? And oh man, we do not want to go under that one more time. You don't want to push a support too much because that's really how it breaks. Again, let me just kind of zoom out to see. Oh man. Okay, let me make one new line. We at least can make this right here. I'm actually going to take the bottom of it. So that's a decent line right there. And really, there's nothing else. I mean, I guess I can make one more right here. Sorry, I'm going to use the top of the tall guy. Okay, so those are at least a couple more, but really there's not a lot. I mean, I guess I can put one right there just to kind of break that up even a little bit. Yeah, I'll do it. Let's put one right here because, again, it'll at least, because I don't think the gap will be that big. There's at least some history here to catch it. Okay, so clearly I've made some lines under that original 155. That was our lowest. But look, you don't want to lose 155.99, 156. Got to stay over it, right? Again, where are we on the weekly? Look, we tried to get over the 20. It's been a long time since we've been anywhere near the 20. Unfortunately, this was a hard slapdown, right? This was basically 3 weeks ago. Last week under the 8, and it looks like this week we're continuing, right? So weekly doesn't look good, and again, I've said it a couple times, if the weekly looks bad, you're gonna have a lot of bad days to get a bad weekly, right? So yeah, these lower indicators, again, green, we always want above red. It's clearly under, and yeah, Meta not looking great. Let's see if there's any difference across the rest of these FAANG stocks. So Amazon, what are we looking at for Amazon? So again, we're on the daily. Again, we made this video on the 21st, right? And really, since the 21st, we've actually been trading under the 8, right? Very bad thing. We have a cluster right here, right? So I use that phrase every now and then. We have 2 moving average lines and then a manual one that I've drawn. This cluster of 3 lines should be pretty hard to break. Again, I've said it. It's hard to break up. should be just as hard to break down. Ooh, excuse me. So again, it makes sense that we got a bounce. It looks like it was pretty much the 50 and this 125 line. But again, don't get me wrong, this 100 definitely did something. You can even see it kind of tested it actually here. But look, Amazon, you need to get over the 8 moving average, right? That's generally rule number 1. And it has not been doing that for easy 2 weeks, right? So if you're under the 8, you should be expecting to trade under the 8, right? Until you make a move. So I'm hoping that this cluster is strong enough to bounce. Will it get over the 20? I don't really know, right? The indicators don't look great at all. And look, we've actually come into the negative on the MACD, right? I never really talk about the numbers much on the MACD, but positive, negative, I kind of call out, right? So Amazon not looking good, and Amazon not looking good on the weekly either, right? So we've clearly been over the 8 for a number of weeks, really months actually. The last 3 weeks, just like we saw with Meta, right? The last 3 weeks have been bad. This is the first week we're under the 8. We're actually under the 200 right now. And yeah, it's not good, right? We definitely want to open up next week. But look, that's a really ugly RSI kind of telling me, hey, we might get another bad week or two, maybe even just one bad week. But again, one bad week means a bunch of bad days, right? So more than likely, it kind of looks like we might lose this cluster and maybe head down to 116. So, and yeah, we got lines under 116. So yeah, really 2 of 5 not looking good. At this point, I imagine the other 3 are going to follow, right? Because again, generally, you'll see the same thing. Again, look at this, right? We're on the daily. Look at Apple. I mentioned this the last time I made this video, right? This is a beautiful example of trading over the 8, right? All of these are just days of just killing it. Once you lose the 8, oh man, you're pretty much trading under the 8, under the 8, under the 8. Try to save it, never get over, hard rejection. Keep going down, right? So Apple is very much 8 moving average love. You know what I mean? Like it runs with it so well. And unfortunately, it drops with it just as well, right? So I really need to see something immediate, right? Not as big a cluster, but again, I would still call this a cluster, right? 2 moving averages not that far away. There's at least for sure a line and a moving average right on each other, give or take, right? But again, look, there's a 3 cluster up here, right? Just as hard as it might be to fall, it's going to be really hard to break up. And really, this looks like a tighter cluster than this. And I kind of take that as going down, right? As of right now, we've lost the 20, the 8, the 200, the 50, and all that's left is the 100, right? And again, you can find those all up here, right? That doesn't change as we move the ticker. So needs to get over the 8, right? Again, I'm saying the same thing. And look at this weekly, right? Weeks of beauty. 2 bad weeks gave us all that downtrend, right? So again, if the weeklies look good, and again, you'll see from July to pretty much half of August, these are beautiful weeks. Look at all these days, right? Yeah, so again, I say these things for a reason, right? Apple, not looking good though. NFLX, Netflix. I'll be honest with you, we're getting ready to unsubscribe from Netflix. But hey, this is a pretty interesting chart here. I would say it's a little better than the rest of them. Sorry, I didn't mean to zoom out there. So what's happened? Look, obviously it did that same uptrend as the rest. It looked like it's actually had the same downtrend as the rest. But it seems like something is happening kind of here, right? This 225 line, just rounding the change, right? Seems like it is a pretty hard line because it saved a bunch of times, and really it almost got us over the 8, right? Yesterday was nice. 2 days ago was nice. Friday, we didn't get that confirmation that we wanted, right? So Thursday was good, Friday was not. We are definitely under the 8 still, don't get me wrong, but hey, look at how the green just kind of did this like up, right? I don't know if that means anything or not. We're still under it, don't get me wrong, but this 225 line is strong. I don't know if it's strong enough to save the 8 or manipulate the 8 a little bit, but look at that. Even back here, we've seen it, right? This 225 line, and then it broke, right? This 225 line, I don't know if it's going to break down, right? But That's really interesting that the 8 moving average did that. I mean, obviously it was because of this big boy right here, but interesting. Nonetheless, look, these indicators down here don't look good. Both, we have the green under. Really, I think this like the hard change of slope on the 8 is what caught me. Nonetheless, I think it does still pretty much scream downtrend like the rest. And look, I do believe once we lose this line, some bad things can happen. So needs to hold 225. It's definitely a very important line. I mean, look at that. Just how many days there, how many days here, what it did when it broke up. You know, don't want to see what happens when it goes down. So let's look at the weekly real quick. Again, just we're tight, right? This gap fill just doesn't seem like it wants to happen, right? I mean, I do remember calling out this gap fill and being really excited, but really we only got to this line, essentially. We can call that a 25% fill, but Netflix has a good potential for a gap fill. It's just not really quite ready yet. But even the weekly did look a little better than the rest of them, right? We're actually over the 8 on the weekly. Again, though, this 225 line seems like a really big line. So, hey, if it breaks up 225, that's beautiful. If it doesn't, get ready, right? Because if it breaks this line, there's a more than good chance that it comes to 225. At the minimum, it should run to this 240 number. Again, though, I think breaking and getting a confirmation of that 225 might be a little easier said than done. So Netflix is really the only one I would really watch of the last 4. And coming up to number 5, the G in FAANG, which is now Alphabet, right? Again, this is ugly as shit, right? Sorry to curse. I try not to curse too much on this. But look, we've been trading under the 8 just like the rest. We lost a really important cluster right here. And man, there's nothing. I got to make new lines, obviously, but there's nothing down here, right? This is incredibly ugly to say the least, right? We're going to put one right there. Really, I'm using these 2 points really more than anything. And then I'll put one, I think, right there. Oh, nice line. Okay, cool. And look, you can kind of see that that's pretty much what caught us the last few days. But my, Google actually almost looks like one of the worst. I don't remember liking Meta much, but that was 5 tickers ago. Ugly weekly, right? Boom, 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 right? So, hey, hopefully this is a bounce point. This might be a bounce point. Really, I could probably move it up. I'm going to move it up, actually. This is going to be a stronger line because this is a weekly time and it's a little further. Obviously, it didn't tie into that daily one, but again, I think this is a better line. That's why I made that change. But Google, not looking good. Looking like we're going to have a couple bad weeks, too, just based on this indicator, unless something happens on a pretty big bounce. But yeah, really, Netflix was the only one in this FAANG group that seemed bullish. But again, most of them were bad. So I would kind of assume Netflix might be bad as well, unless we get some good confirmation early next week, right? So Monday is a holiday. Tuesday will be the first trading day. I'll probably sneak in another video too before then, though. Again, if you stayed this far, hey, I hope you subscribed and I hope you're learning.